Many folks aren't going to believe it, but it's just straight facts. We're going to be talking about how XRP is still outperforming Bitcoin, BNB, and most of the top 50 cryptos, not only since the election, but even, I'm going to go back and show you guys, if you bought the bottom of the bear market and rode it out until now, you would still be up more on XRP than Bitcoin and BNB. Now, I do want to take a moment to celebrate the fact that Bitcoin did just hit a new all-time high this weekend. And on my chart, I think that I am pulling, let's see, it is a $125,700 Bitcoin. And I'm going to show you on the charts here. You know, this is great. Bitcoin's ran up quite a bit since the election, about 80%. And if you did buy the bottom, the FTX collapse and crash sacrifice back in November of 2022, you would be up substantially on your Bitcoin. It would have been a great investment, but not as good as XRP during the depths of the bear market for XRP. I'm going to show you on BNB. And really, I wanted to share this video talking about how XRP is still outperforming because I know how our community feels, and even I had a sense of FOMO when I saw BNB pumping up to a new all-time high, and you look and you see that price on BNB up above $1,100, and here you are holding the $3 XRP. But this is what I want folks to remember. We're here for ROI, return on investment, percentage gain on the investment that we've allocated towards cryptocurrency. So where was your money best spent? It was on XRP right up before the election. And also, if you were going to buy the blood in the streets during the bear market, XRP still was the best pick and the best play for you. So without further ado, we're going to get right on into it. I know that our community's watching Bitcoin all-time high, BNB big number, $1,100 per BNB. What's up with my $3 XRP? I'll show you what's going on, and you're going to be happy that you bought XRP if you did during the bear market, during the blood in the streets. Let's get right on into it, folks. Here you go. And so back November 2022, FTX collapsed. This brought in the depths of the bear market for Bitcoin. And so you could have picked you up some Bitcoin at about 15,000, right? 15,000 was the low during the 2022 bear market. Now, if you wrote it up now, here we are just below 123,000. You're up 678%. That's almost a 7x on your Bitcoin. Fantastic. Like, that is amazing. ROI in a period that's not even 3 years. We're coming up on 3 years from that moment. And so all you had to do was buy that moment, which once again was difficult to do because that's when we had peak FUD, exchanges were going down, shutting down, liquidity was getting tight. And so the most difficult thing, right? You would have done well if you would have bought any of these coins during that time. But for many people, they don't buy the blood in the streets because they're not fundamental investors. They're just waiting until the market comes back around and then they FOMO back in at the tops. Instead of having conviction, knowing what you wanted to buy, whether that be Bitcoin, whether that be BNB, or whether that be XRP, you knew when the blood in the streets event sacrifice was taking place that you were ready to pick up those assets because we were well below fundamental value. It's just like groceries going on sale. You know you need it. You got to eat. And so when they go on sale, you're going to swoop it up. And that's what we did. And if you did it on Bitcoin at 15,000, congratulations, you're up 678%. That is fantastic. Now, right before the election, and you guys know that I keep on going back to the November 2024 election, and I use that as a measuring point for new people coming in the past year, right? What has been the best asset that you could have got into right before the election within the past year? I think it's a fair measuring point because Trump came in with a new administration. That was the tide shifting. And then also with Jerome Powell, right? Powell started to raise rates, and then he did deliver a couple rate cuts into the election, but then he held off until this most recent meeting last month. So it was a different paradigm with the Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell. And then President Trump was back for his second term in a new administration. So the playing field was a little bit different. The setup was a little bit different. That's why I like to measure from the November 2024 election. Now for Bitcoin, it is up about 82, almost 83% since that November election. And you could have bought Bitcoin right here. It looks like at about 66, 67,000. Right? And so you'd be up almost double. You would have almost doubled up your money. right? Obviously, if you would have sold off the top here at 125.7 that we just hit earlier today, you'd probably be up to what, 83%, 84, 85%, somewhere in there. But you still have not even doubled up if you bought right before the election. Now, BNB, this thing's gone on a run. Big number, right? And people confused. They see Bitcoin at 125,000, BNB at 1,155. Why am I holding this $3 XRP? Well, hopefully you bought your XRP down below 50 cents right before the election, like we were telling folks to do for 4 years. Now, for BNB, if you bought the bottom, which came in June 2022, 527% if you held till now. Now, during the November, December, it only went down to about 221. So this was right after Luna. Luna collapsed in May. And then your June lows for BNB, if you would have scooped up there, you could have got under $200, rode it up until now, you'd be up 527%. That's not bad. That's pretty dang good. Now, right before the election, BNB was trading at 551. So at today's price of 1,155, you are only up 110% if you bought BNB right before the election. So let's run it back here. For Bitcoin, it's been up about 82% since the election. BNB about 110% since the election. And now we're watching the lows from the bear market. You have 678% for Bitcoin, and you have 527% for BNB. Not too bad. So how would you have done if you bought XRP at the lows of the bear market? Well, let's take a look here. I got my XRP chart right here. There we have it. So with XRP here at $2.97, you bought right before the election at 49 cents, 50 cents. You're up about 500%. So if you bought right any point back in here or during the lows of 2024, you would be up over 500%, outperforming BNB, even if you would have bought the depths of the bear market on BNB, and nearly almost outperforming Bitcoin if you bought the depths of the bear market for Bitcoin, which is down at 15,000. But if you bought the depths of the bear market on XRP, how much are you up? 929%. If you bought anywhere here under 30 cents, you are up over 900% on your XRP investment. And this is the case for many of us in this community, right? Obviously, if you're new here, that's not the case for you. Hopefully you were able to get in. You had all of this time to accumulate under 50 cent XRP, and your portfolio would be up 500% on that XRP. But if you had real conviction like we did, and you bought sub 30 cent XRP during the bear market of 2022, and you had all this opportunity to buy it right here, 30, 40 cents, you'd be up over 900% on your XRP. So no matter which measuring point you want to go from, right before the election or the depths of the bear market, the lowest prices that you could have accumulated any of these assets during the bear market, your best option would have been XRP. Right before the election, depths of the bear market. And so this is why I titled the video XRP Still Outperforming, is to remind folks and give folks context and perspective on how well this asset really is doing. Despite the big numbers on BNB and Bitcoin, they're hitting new all-time highs. People think, oh, XRP hasn't hit a new all-time high and it's still only $3. This sucks. Well, it only sucks if you bought above $3, and to do so, it would have had to have been in the last year. And the good news for you guys that did buy in late, up above $3, even if you bought at $3.50, bought the absolute top at $3.60, this is an asset that is well on its way to double digits, and we're getting feedback in the form of real data on institutional exposure to XRP products. This is happening at the CME group as I speak. This is not speculation. This is not, I need to give you guys some more hopium. This is just sharing data and facts and measuring ROI on all of these investments. And going forward, if XRP truly is on its way to double digits, then it's still going to be a fantastic asset to be in, Even if you bought at $3, shoot, even if you buy this sucker at $4, if we're on our way to 12, 20, and in my case, it's a $20 to $30 base case for XRP in 2026. In fact, I think that I just saw Canary Capital CEO, Steve, and he came on to Paul Barron's podcast again. And shout out to Paul, he had me on again last week for my second time. The first time Canary Capital CEO was on, he said that he was predicting 5 billion of inflows into the XRP ETFs first month. And now he came back, and I think that I saw him say that that might have been bearish. Now he's expecting 10 billion of inflows into the XRP ETFs first month. Okay, we're talking about a double-digit XRP conservatively, easily $10, if not $20 to $30, if we see those types of inflows that quickly and that aggressively in 1 month time. You're looking at a double-digit XRP with ease. And so not only has XRP been outperforming since the depths of the bear market, which was the best pick, XRP. Since right before the election, which was the best pick, XRP. And this is not just BNB or Bitcoin. I could show you dozens of other charts where this would still be reflected. Going forward from today, what's the best thing to buy? Well, even if you're buying a $3 XRP, the odds of XRP doubling and tripling up are far better than Bitcoin and BNB and some other coins that are not going to double and triple up from today's prices, not even close. And so that's just the facts. For new people here, I hope that you understand this. For folks that have been in the game and just needed a little reminder, I hope that this does make folks feel better, right? If you were buying sub 50 cent XRP, you're up 500%. If you were buying sub 30 cent XRP, you're up over 900%. You got a 10 bagger in your pocket, basically, with your XRP position if you were buying 20 to 30 cent XRP. And this party is not even close to being finished. Bitcoin already had ETF. Ethereum already had ETF. The floodgates are about to open up as soon as our government shutdown's over. So that's the facts. I hope that you guys share this out far and wide so that folks understand this, whether they're new here, whether they're old in the XRP community, they just need a reminder. Like this video, help us out by sharing it out far and wide, and let's get in a quick word from our sponsor real quick before we head out. Huge shout out to iTrust Capital, folks. Check them out. We got them linked up at the top of the description down below. This is where you can buy and sell cryptocurrency in an IRA, or they also have their new premium custody account as well. You have both options right here. Traditional Roth or SEP IRA. You can convert your 401k with your existing company or employer, and you can roll that over to a traditional Roth or SEP IRA with iTrust Capital. And then they also have the premium custody account as well. For those of you guys who just want to trade outside of your retirement account, that is available as well. Institutional custody, award-winning US-based support, low cost, no monthly fees, and they are looking at a 1% transaction fee on cryptocurrency. Once again, no monthly annual fees at all. Now, when it comes to your crypto IRA, iTrust Capital can also get that done. Tax advantage, buy and sell crypto 24/7. I do want to mention that they also do have precious metals, gold and silver as well. Now you're going to use my promo code, which is Rector9, all caps, RECTOR, the number 9, to claim that $100 funding bonus. A huge shout out and a special thank you to our sponsor, iTrust Capital. We'll see you guys in the next one. God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.